What's up, everybody? We're back with another episode of What Was I Saying? And today, gonna keep it really light, right? I'm feeling pretty good spirits. The weather outside is nice down here in Texas. If you're in another part of the world where the weather isn't so great, hey, hopefully staying warm indoors. But I just wanted to hit everybody with the focus on finding your peace, finding your happiness, right? Or the old cliche thing around health as well, right? You typically think of physical health, which is very important, but your physical health can directly impact your mental health and vice versa. But when I made the video the other day and I talked about, ambition versus complacency and how there's a battle between you don't want to rest on your laurels, right? But how can you be satisfied and be at peace? And I wanted to extrapolate on that today and just have the whole video be about how do you find your peace in life, right? How do you find that slice of happiness for you? The first thing doesn't look the same for everybody, right? And another thing, we all come into the world with this desire to belong, and there's some type of, connection that we want to have with people. And through whatever the case may be, right, different circumstances, whether they're favorable or unfavorable, we're conditioned on certain reactions and outcomes. So if you are optimistic younger in life and then a lot of tragedies occur to you, or maybe you're optimistic in dating, but you keep running into the wrong type of people and they don't progress the way that you feel they should, you might become jaded and a little bit upset about that, right? And so you begin to shut yourself off, and then it begins to a bit of a loop, right? So it's a feedback loop that just keeps processing and feeding on itself and growing. Now, you ask yourself, what is happiness? I don't know what happiness is because it's going to be different to everybody. But I do know that focusing on happiness shouldn't be on the aesthetic, the visual part. I need to appear to be happy while suffering inside. Happiness is being, understanding there are going to be bad days, but then also embracing what makes you you, right? And saying, all right, well, how can I be the healthiest version of myself, right? And again, tying back to the complacency versus consistent ambition, if you feel that happiness is a level of financial status, maybe you'll get to that level, and when you do, are you happy? Do you keep going? Or are you perpetually like a hamster in a wheel? You just keep turning? I don't know. I'm not a therapist by any means, right? That is not my trade vocation. But I will segue into that and say that if you have a hard time, processing your emotions and feelings, I say go find that therapist, right? Go find that person to talk to. And I know a lot of people will say, well, I have my friends, I can just talk to them. Well, okay, they're not professionally trained, unless of course you have a friend who happens to be a therapist. But I would probably recommend you going to another one. That's probably conflict of interest there. But if you have that situation, right, you go talk to the professional. They can help you diagnose things you didn't even know existed, right? You have these certain behaviors and you're trying to understand the cause of them. Boom. You know what? This happened when I was younger, so I'm going to work on that, right? And I just think as you process and you grow, you become healthier, and you're able to bring more healthy energy to other people. Now another reason as to why you may not want to talk to your friends about the therapy aspect. When I say talk to them about therapy, I mean don't rely on your friends as if they are your therapist and say, oh, well, I don't need a therapist. Because sometimes there may be traits that your friends have that align very closely with traits that you have, right? Birds of a feather may flock together. And if that's the case and there's something you're doing that's toxic, then they may not see what's wrong with what's happening. So you may give them scenario A, B, and C, and you're thinking, I don't understand why they did this. Why did she feel this way? And it's because your perspective is pretty warped, and maybe you're not looking at it from her perspective. You're not empathizing, or maybe you're not looking at it from his perspective. It's an interaction with another individual, and you're just wondering why there's all this blowback. And I just, I think it's so important for us to be whole inside because, again, we want to be connected with other people, but there's this desire of self-preservation in our emotions and our feelings where you get hurt. You don't want to get hurt again, right? Humans are very much in that camp. I'll just be candid. Still remember it was back in college, so many years ago. My hairline hadn't marched back as much at that point. But I remember dating a woman. I really, really cared about her. Was putting my all in and just got hurt. It got dashed. Now that's part of dating. That is life. It happens. now I find myself in that perpetual state of never getting too close to somebody. If I get close to them or they get close to me, then I begin to pull back, and I don't understand or didn't understand. But then you realize, oh, it's self-sabotage, because you're just afraid of being hurt. You want this feeling of togetherness with someone, but your subconscious is saying, no, we know what happened last time. We want to protect ourselves. We don't need that emotional distress to occur, right? So going back to the whole point of like happiness, health, being well, taking care of yourself, getting positive, figuring out what it is that you want in life. When you're able to do that, so much more of your life can open up in ways you never thought possible. Because that burden that you're carrying around, that burden is going to poison so many interactions in life and cause things to, the sky to just be a little bit more dull than it should be, right? The food won't taste as good. The wine won't taste as sweet. All of these things in your life are stemming from the inability to kind of process what's inside. It spills over externally, and you don't know why, and it just keeps feeding back. And you may feel that, I don't deserve to have X, Y, or Z, and you're just okay with that. But it's like, no. And again, I'm not saying that you're not gonna have down days. It's gonna happen. But I think that if you, and again, that's why I got off of social media with regards to, Instagram and Facebook, because I felt that I just was comparing myself to so many people. You see somebody, you're like, wow, this is crazy. Am I not doing well enough? And you begin to doubt yourself, and you know that these feelings are just not rational, but it happens, right? We're all susceptible to it. So I called that out, cleaned it out, because I knew it would work for me. Not saying that works for everybody. Some people have stronger will, and that's big kudos and big up to them. But for me, my health mentally and that well-being was more important, because you can, again, I just tie it out, because this is what we do. We just talk about random stuff, and we just tie it all together, and the webs that we weave. But I was at an actual wine bar last night, and an older gentleman, he had, I think multiple kids, and some were outside of a marriage, and there was an older black lady sitting next to us. We were all having a conversation, and her mind, you can see the energy from both sides. So I have another video in the can that I'm working on, but it's talking about how there's a lot of the energy around or towards black people. It's like, oh, black man's like, oh, they ain't shit. But then you have to realize this is what they've seen, right? This is what this individual's seen. You can't discredit their experience. Those experiences are valid. But when it begins to shape your perspective on an entire group, that's where you start to potentially miss out on some things. And I myself, again, I am not immune to this, but I have been in situations where I had a wonderful person and wasn't processing my feelings correctly. Boom, just shatters like a house of cards. Now I will say, I've probably been fortunate. I've met some wonderful women. I have not been the type of man that I should have been for those women. So I would never say I just haven't met any good women. That's not true at all. I met several, but I wasn't where I needed to be. And that is because I wasn't whole or happy with who I was. And that's where I'm trying to get to that point of, embrace who you are, what you're about. Because you're all, it's only, you got one life to live. Try to make the most of it. Try to build those memories, because, you get older, you look back, you're like, damn, I missed this time because I was so afraid of this happening that I just didn't even try to live life. But, that's what I want to talk to you about today. Let me know your thoughts below. If you made it this far, please give a thumbs up if you liked the video. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down. I just like feedback. And let me know your thoughts in the comment section about what other things you want to talk about. Of course, subscribe if you enjoy this type of video. Hit the little bell notification so YouTube will let you know every time I upload something. I'm trying to become a little more consistent with my upload schedule, but we'll see how long this lasts. But until then, I just wanted to get these thoughts off my chest. Say, hey, go out there, find happiness, define what it means for you. Don't let society define that for you. And then you figure out, hey, this is what I want. So long as what you're doing doesn't harm other people, right? I just want to make that qualifying statement. But yeah, go out there, be the best version that you can be. Be better today than you were yesterday. Keep improving. and don't worry about what other people say, and don't try to use other people in their lives as the measuring stick for where you should be. Hey, it's not a race where you're going against other people. Just enjoy it, enjoy the journey while you're here, build lasting memories, and that's all you can really ask for. Enjoy good friends and family. So with that, I'll bid you adieu, take care, and until next time.